Bum, 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 bum. Do, 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 do. All right. Bum, bum, bum. Hello, hello, hello out there in internet land. Hopefully, it is a nice Thursday for everybody out there. Princess says hello. And bring up the thing. There we go. Almost there. Howdy, howdy, everybody. And Princess is off to the races. All right. Well, hopefully today will be a day of getting words done after having to spend all my day yesterday doing edits. So today will be a word day, getting the words done. So, oh, right in the mic. Oh, jeez. Alrighty, alright. Shh. You can just scream to the world, child. Yeah, she's fussy today. I think she's actually more mad about just me moving around. But, or do you know? Do you know they listen to you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alright, okay. Alright. Boop. Alright, well, I think we're just going to probably hop into it and at least get off to the races early. So for those of you out there who are going to be writing and working along, feel free to join in. I think I'm probably going to play some playlist music, so let me kill that really quick. So the music doesn't go to the VOD. We'll go ahead and bring this down. And we're gonna play some tunes. We're gonna do Furiosa. Bam. All right. Bring the music down. Let's make sure that that's not too loud. All right. Make sure the audio level's in that. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay. Not terrible. Alrighty, cool. Alright, yeah, let's just dive right into it, everybody. We'll see you on the other side. For everybody writing, I hope it is a productive sprint. And away we go into the land of words. Happy writing, everybody. there we go. That is the end of our first sprint. Cryptid! Oh, how you doing, Cryptid? How you doing? Gotta be careful not to neglect those souls. That's how you get ghosts. Exactly, yeah. That's when souls turn to ghosts. When, hungry ghosts. That's when they haven't been fed. Let me start the down timer. Ba-ba-ba. Yeah, don't want ghosts. I already have angry, hungry cats. The last thing I want is ghosts to come devour my brains. Yeah, I was supposed to have. I was trying to write the sword and sorcery story to be submitted this weekend. It's only like 3,000 words, so it's not bad, but I just don't. I have like barely thought about it, so I don't even know if I'm gonna try to submit it. They do a submission like every 6 months, so I can always just do it 6 months down the line. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just behind, so now I'm kind of trying to dream up some other projects I have in the background. I finished the text on the pitch doc for the Cyberpunk rom-com. But that's actually what I was saying, Cryptid. I might be editing my horror film, the folk horror film, because getting ready to write the text for all the pitch deck stuff for that movie made me realize I have more rewrites I need to do on this script. So I might actually do that later today. But I'm trying to get some of the dreamy, just coming up with ideas for future screenplays out of the way, so I can be like a little bit dreamy and happy. Doing okay, just stirring my supper. Stirring your supper. Yeah, I managed to get oatmeal, so I did manage to eat before stream today, which is good. But that will be next. That'll be after stream. I will be stirring my own dinner. Saying we finally have a ghost-free house. That's good. Determined to keep it that way. Yeah, you've purged the ghosts, so just make sure whatever souls are hanging out in there, make sure they're fed. Oh yeah, you can always hit... Exactly, that's what I was thinking. I just do the end of the year one. And I'm thinking, like, I kind of want to write this story as my first foray into writing, kind of... There's a character I've had based on I think I've talked about it a little bit, based on a character I wrote in my COVID script. I wrote like a 300-page like monolithic film that was just a meditation on the end of the world, and it had this sort of like, I guess I would call him like a non-binary future knight that also like that ends up in a weird way getting like reborn in the past, and it had a lot of weird dream logic and timey-wimey nonsense. But I was like, I kind of want to make this, and this character travels with death, or an aspect of death, so I kind of wanted to like revisit that and kind of develop that more, and I might just make that kind of like my Conan, kind of my like secret project I just work on, maybe submit a few short stories to things, but kind of keep it to be just a little fun passion project I can write. So yeah, so that's kind of what I was thinking about doing. But I just haven't had time to like really dive in, and I want to give it its proper time and effort. Oh yeah, hell yeah, folk horror film, and yes, please give yourself time to dream. Yep. Although the topic of this one, this is like I'm trying to develop an action film because I've never written like a straight action movie before. And I like action movies, but I have issues with like specifically like revenge action movies. And of course, because it's me, I have to like have it be about a million other different things. So this one's definitely a little darker, because I want to make the American version of Harakiri. And if you've never seen the film Harakiri, I definitely recommend watching it, because it's a samurai movie that deconstructs and tears down the mythology of the samurai as a sort of like neo-nationalist, like corrupted ideology that is also like hypocritical, like fundamentally hypocritical. It was made by a director who was forced to be in the Imperial Army in World War II and hated every minute of it, and the moment Japan lost the war turned around and started making movies that were very, very angry at nationalist Japan. But I was like, so I'm trying to do an action movie version of that, but I'm gonna do it about cops, because that seems to be it's not a direct comparison, but it's kind of an American thing, and it's a tricky thing because I tend to be very like harsh on cops. So having to like, even though they can be villains or good guys, you know, you have to like, you can't just make cartoonish villains of them, which is very easy for me to do. So I'm trying to like, it'll be a good challenge for me to like make them like human beings, essentially, like humanize them, make them, you know, kind of understand where they're coming from, even though they're doing like terrible things, to then like justify a kind of interesting subversion of the action revenge trope genre. So we'll see. We'll see if it works. But that's kind of what I'm working through right now. You know, because I can't just write a normal action movie. I have to have it be a film about deconstructing the LAPD as an institution. I keep an offering in the house basement just to get it good. Excellent. Which reminds me, I should hide that when plumbers come next week. Great, Cryptid. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Be sure to hide the offering in the basement. Be sure to hide that. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, that sounds lovely. Weird stuff, but yeah. For the fantasy thing, yeah, it makes sense. I dig that a lot. I've written espionage with lots of action. If you need a hand with scene blocking, throw it at me. Oh, for sure. Okay, yeah, fight scenes are specialty. Yeah. This will be the reason why is I think it's because there are few genres that I think lend themselves very much to cinema. Like obviously all different genres can be cinema and cinematic and use the syntax. Obviously they do all the time, but there's specifically the action film is a thing that I feel like can't really exist in any other genre in that way. Like something is like action films really rely on cinematic language to work because it's different than a video game where you're like the point of view is static. Like in an action film you're able to both be in the action and external to it at the same time, and that's a very unique point of view. It's just a thing that I'm fascinated by, just structurally in the language of cinema. So it's been one I've always wanted to try to write. I've never done it before. I didn't like I like action movies, but they're not like my preferred genre. So it's kind of gonna be like the cyberpunk rom-com where it's a little bit of a challenge for me to like get through it, but I do like movies that are very subversive in that way. So I'm probably gonna go back and watch, and particularly like America, because America has this like deep fetish for revenge. Like usually like men going outside of the law, usually like a cop or like an ex character, like you like the Charles Bronson, like all the Death Wish stuff. Like we or any of the old Don Siegel movies, like we have this obsession with people who are like, the law stops me from being able to do what needs to be done, so then they act, you know, it's the vigilante fetish kind of thing. And there's a few subversions of that. You get a little bit of that back in the 60s, like Steve McQueen's Bullet is a really good like subversion of the, you know, it's actually about like people trying to like the corrupt institutions of the police institution itself, not just, oh, it's the laws itself that stop me from just essentially going and shooting the gangbangers kind of thing, you know? It's like, oh no, like the police system itself is corrupt, or the justice system itself is corrupt. Like, you've seen movies like that back in the 70s, but the popular ones, the ones that like people talk about here, always tend to be heavy, the sort of libertine vigilante. And so that's a unique, it's prime real estate for a subversion, for me at least, particularly not just politically but also culturally, to try to like, okay, why are we obsessed with that, and like what is it about that makes us like really like, what's the political implications of it and the sociological implications of being obsessed with kind of the Batman culture, the vigilante. I mean, Alan Moore's obviously critiqued it heavily in like The Watchmen. He's like, oh yeah, vigilantes are sociopaths. The only way you could be a vigilante is you'd have to functionally be a sociopath. Oh, absolutely, but action is so visually based. Exactly. Well, that's the thing, is like, that's why it uses the language really well. You have to work so hard to keep that in prose. That is why I think people that can write action scenes that is like the most impressive. If you can make an action scene read and visualize it really well, that is one of the hardest things I can imagine anyone doing in prose. Like, it just seems damn near impossible. Which is kind of also why I'm trying to, write a sword and sorcery story. Because, like, Robert E. Howard's one of those writers that just, it's like shooting from the hip. Just a wordsmith. And it's hard. It's not easy to do. I can only imagine. Yeah. Writing an action scene, like, in prose breaks my brain. Oh, definitely. I'm more of a... Yeah, Count of Monte Cristo is, like, the best cryptid. Like, the Count of Monte Cristo is probably the best revenge story ever made. Like, or ever written. Or told, in my opinion. Because, Count of Monte Cristo is hard to top. And that one itself is, like, far more nuanced and interesting than most of the revenge stories that, like, lean on it. Like, it actually has a lot more nuance and a lot more to say about revenge than most revenge movies today do. The only cop films we grew up on were The Lethal Weapon and Beverly Hills Cop. Oh, man, Lethal Weapon is fucking great. And Dragnet. I mean, Dragnet's great, though. Like, hey, Ghostly! Hey, welcome in. Welcome. The key to doing is you have to keep it short and tidy, exactly. Show the visuals and then movement track with zero for it could be yeah. That's the hard thing is even like the science fiction books I write, or I read, a lot of the science fiction people cannot write action to save their life. Particularly like hard science fiction, it just becomes tedious to read. I've been really loving the book Blind Sight by Watts, but man, some of when he has to describe like action, it's rough. Hey, how goes it? It goes well. Well, just doing a little bit of dreamy writing here before I'll probably have to turn to the folk horror and start editing the folk horror film, since I need to do another pass on that before I get the pitch deck done. So I'm working on an action film right now, or at least the early stages of coming up with an action film. So, oh, excitement! Yeah, I run into that with specific clients. Yeah, yep. It's just rough. Action is hard. So I think it's kind of. I remember there's a famous quote by people forget this, but like Stanley Kubrick, where he said that like people were surprised to hear that one of his favorite films of all time was Smokey and the Bandit. Because not just is it an action film, but it's a car chase movie. And those are car chases. Like, car chases and action as a genre are pretty much just, like, the best way of telling that story in any medium is going to be cinema. It can't be told. I just don't think it can be done better. In a video game, you're locked in a POV. You can drive around and have people chase you. But it's that sort of, you're in the action and also outside the action. You get two different perspectives in film that you wouldn't get. And then, of course, yeah, the limitations of prose can cause problems there. So, but I think Kubrick and a lot of these other filmmakers are right when they're like, no, action is kind of a genre that's uniquely suited to cinema. Like, filmmaking is one of the only ones that can get away with it. So, and get away with it as effective. Which is why I think that Fury Road might be the greatest action film ever made. And one of the greatest movies ever made, because the movie is literally just one giant car chase. Somehow tells its story and all of that, and also manages to just be... not just tell a story, but like a deeply human and personal and emotional story as well. Like, it's amazing what George Miller got away with in Fury Road. It's like, it's an actual marvel that he pulled that off. It's still one of the greatest films ever made. But action film, that's a puzzle. It is, Ghostly. And it's not a genre that I tend to write in or work in, or I want to make one, obviously, but so that's what I'm trying here. Trying to dive into an action movie. And because, as Cryptid said, because it's me, because it's Twilight, I have to have it be about all kinds of weird socio-political existential bullshit too. Because I can't not do that. Writing action in book form makes me want to jump off the Empire. Yeah, that's what I was saying to Cryptid earlier. Yeah. One day I'll finish my espionage series. I would love to read your espionage series, Cryptid. I can only imagine how rad that would be. Particularly after what little I've read of witch punks, like I can only imagine what an espionage story from you would be amazing. Um, I don't like reading most prose action, so writing it's like pulling teeth. Knocking that off right every genre bucket list. That's kind of what I'm trying to. I mean, the shocking thing is that I usually kind of stay to my lane. I'm trying to just be better at writing the type of horror films I want to write and some of the science fiction films I want to write, and so the genres that I'm well versed in. You tend to want to craft those better. And I really want to write a fantasy movie, like bring back like some of the old '80s crazy fantasy movies. Um, but the like when my buddy was like try to write a rom-com, I mean, of course I had to make it, a cyberpunk rom-com because I couldn't just write a normal rom-com like a normal person. People really liked it, like shockingly so. Like it got that script has gotten more attention than anything else that I've written, which is impressive. Like I it kind of took me by surprise. So I'm doubling back down on the right outside, write different genres. I guess sometimes good things can come out of it. Um, I can help you with it, Ghostly. Yeah, the best action I've ever read in literature is still to this day Robert Howard. It's still just the old Conan stories. I don't know if anyone can write action as well as he did. He was very short because none of his stories. I think the longest story he ever wrote was a novella. It was almost exclusively short stories. Um, it's very, very weird, Twilight. That sounds like up my alley. I love my weird stuff. Set in the Cold War and supernatural elements. That sounds dope. That sounds awesome. Like David Bowie in a very tight tights, kind of weird. David Bowie in very tight tights is not weird. It is beautiful. It is beautiful, Ghostly. David Bowie is beautiful. Now weird, yes, but beautiful. That is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Starman. Oh! Did you really? You read Faulkner today? Oh man, how was that? Go. What did you read? You read like one of his short stories? All my espionage is novella because I can't stand adventure novels that drag. I think it would have to be. Oh, the Hounds. Okay, okay. What did you think of it? What did you? Faulkner's interesting. He's got a. I think he's my knowledge of the South and just the psychosphere of the South is just based on the way that Faulkner writes. Not gonna lie, I wasn't super impressed, but that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Um, Reminds me of Hillbilly Edgar Allan Poe. I guess there's a little bit of that. I can see that, the poetics. Um, yeah, I guess. Yeah, he's. I mean, it depend. It could also just be the Hound, but he does write very much in that kind of like very specific Southern dialect from a very, very specific time. So, but yeah, Faulkner's not everybody. But it's hard to argue with As I Lay Dying and The Sound and the Fury is two of some of the best novels ever written, in my opinion. I don't. It's very hard to top those two novels. Although my favorite, of course, being Moby Dick. I still think Melville's better than Faulkner, but Faulkner has more work to dive into, where I think Melville only has really like three, maybe prime works. But um, I tend to like Melville a lot more than like personally prefer Melville over Faulkner. But I do love Faulkner. I also think Faulkner's characters are some of the best characters in literature. Um, it was good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not certain if it's up my wheelhouse, but it's very well done. Yeah, yeah. It's not up every. It depends what kind of literature you're into. But that's a really good description of Faulkner. He kind of is. Hey, Lex, welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Like that is a really good. That kind of is what he is. He's it's just Edgar Allan Poe is Baltimore, and Faulkner was what, Georgia. It kind of is the hillbilly Allan Poe. I try. I know you do. You You got you got your thumb on the pulse, Ghostly. I think you figured it out. But it's also very like bleak. It kind of depends. Yeah, I don't know. It depends what you can tolerate too, because a lot of Faulkner stuff is really dark. Um, Same thing with Joyce. I know a lot of people bounce off Joyce too for that reason. Hello! I hope everyone is having a great day. Yeah, I think we're just kind of hanging out, trying to get the words done. Speaking of which, we should dive back into our sprints. I try out things. You say, hey, some of your elements remind me of Faulkner, so I listen. That was more structural, and that's very, particularly the way that you play with italics. That's a thing specifically from The Sound and the Fury. That's very specifically from The Sound and the Fury, where Faulkner does some interesting things with time. It's kind of like stream of consciousness, but moving through time in different perspectives, and uses italics to kind of mitigate that, and kind of translate that. So you're kind of, the italics are meant to kind of mentally, textually get you to feel like you're moving out of a scene and giving into the. I mean, yeah, okay, I'll give that one a listen. Oh, are you listening to them? Oh, interesting. Okay. I don't know about I don't do audiobooks for literature, so I don't know how the audiobooks work for that. Yeah. So, but definitely yeah, actually I can't even what would an audiobook of The Sound and the Fury be like? Particularly cuz the first section of that book is written from the perspective of a person who has a developmental disorder. So their ability to understand what is happening is like weird. Um, I gotta house these pierogi, but I'll be of course. Good luck with it. Hey, welcome, Desperado Joe. Oh, cool writing stream. That is what we do here. Welcome. My name's Twilight, if you didn't know, and I am a filmmaker, and I write screenplays. And a lot of people here are writers. So if you are a writer, feel free to share what you're working on and work alongside us. We tend to work in writing sprints, which we're just about to start right now. Lex, oh my god, also, yes, happy Pride. It is Pride Month. So, absolutely celebrate Pride. Bum, bum, bum. But yeah, Ghostly, for Faulkner, I would definitely, like, I don't know if you'll be able to see the, obviously if you're listening to it you won't be able to see how the italics work, but I'm actually curious if they do anything in the audiobook version of that to like show how that's different textually than what the other text is. Maybe I should listen to The Sound and the Fury to see what that's like. All right, let me check the ads really quick. All right, we're gonna run some ads and then we'll dive into our next sprint, everybody. So we're gonna go and run those ads and then get ready to work. I'm gonna restock on water. Happy Pride. Be gay, do crimes. Exactly, Cryptid. Be gay, do crimes. I'll deep dive on YouTube because Ghostly is too cheap for Audible. I mean, that's fine, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure The Sound of the Fury, if you read it, you can get it online for free. I'm pretty sure it's public domain. Obviously, they, like, publish it, but I'm actually pretty sure you can actually get The Sound and the Fury to read. Boop, boop, boo. Oh yeah. You can literally get the PDF online for free, which makes sense. That shouldn't be shocking at all, given what it is. Desperado Joe, I love your username, by the way, Desperado Joe. That's a great name, Desperado Joe. I'm writing a science fiction novel about a gigantic combat android manufacturing facility in Arizona. Awesome. Okay. The story's main themes are self-discovery and introspection. Awesome. Good. Always a big fan of gigantic combat android mech. I'm a diehard mech fan. I'm actually currently writing a mech trilogy right now. Like film trilogy. There are no human characters in the story. Not that they're dead or anything. I just treat them like extras. Oh, interesting. So you're focusing very specifically on the android. That's cool. Or the androids. I dig that. I'm into that. I'm into that kind of transhumanist kind of perspective. I also love that it's in Arizona. I don't know. I'm originally from Arizona, so I'm I'm like there are strange things in the desert out there. You can absolutely know the world of Arizona. All right. I'm going to go get water. I'll be right back. Ghostly, you are in charge of the ship at the moment. I shall return shortly. You're fine. Do 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 do. All right, I'm back. Now wait a minute. Did I? Ahoy. Cake for all. I mean, I'm definitely on board with cake. But way to win over the crew, Ghostly. I also put you in charge, Ghostly. Ask me if you need a weapon. I've still wait. I leave you in charge, and you just stole all my doubloons. What are you doing, Ghostly? Come on. Cake on any flavor. Hey, Cloak and Hound. Wow, welcome in, Raiders. Welcome. We're just about to get started on our next sprint. Welcome. How's everybody doing? Welcome. How was your stream, Cloak and Hound? And of course, I know streaming is hard. Feel free to raid and run. If you need a snack, need food, need to go rest up after such a raid, it goes well. Working on an action film right now. Getting ready, just starting the kind of beginning research progress on the action film. But yeah, that's what I'm working on. What is everybody else working on? I'm glad you like the ideas for I can tell more about if you want. Of course. Yeah, feel it's always down to share. But yeah, feel free. You saw nothing. Why that? Yeah, Ghostly stealing my doubloons. How dare thee? But yeah, welcome. What is everybody, Cloak and Hound? What were you working on? Hopefully it was good. Whatever you were working on. Let me shout you out. Boop, boop, boop. Oh man, apocalyptic space opera. That sounds like my jam. Oh man. That apocalyptic space opera. That okay. I feel like I don't want to. I definitely. I'm working on my Stardew Valley save. Awesome, Lex. I don't want to keep you here or rant too much, but apocalyptic space opera. I'm like, I need to know everything about that. That sounds amazing. Um, Always here for that. I mean, I'm literally rocking the Furiosa soundtrack in the background, so I'm definitely in the apocalypse moods right now. Um, but yeah, actually, that just wrapped up. You know what? We'll just move over to Fury Road. We're gonna keep the Mad Max vibes going. Do do do. Of course, of course. Thank you so much for the raid, everybody. Yeah, thank you for the raid. But yeah, I think we should probably. I mean, now that Ghostly is apparently stealing all my, all my money, what is happening? There we go. Okay. We should probably dive into our next sprint once I get the music up. It's been something I've been sitting on for a while now. I had to almost write a prequel to get to the part. Yeah. Speaking of which, funny you mentioned that. Literally, the Furiosa, exactly what Miller did with Mad Max or the Wasteland and Furiosa when he was doing Fury Road. Like, actually wrote a prequel to the whole story to kind of build the world and make sure all the little bits were there. Um, I had to write a prequel. I think that's actually a good practice. I don't know. I'm a big fan of that. I'm actually a big fan of like writing the whole thing out and then just like picking kind of like, so you start at the most interesting point and get to the most interesting point, end at the most interesting point, but you've done all the other legwork so you can kind of inform, all the beats that you have inside still have the meaning and can point to everything else, but you're still like containing the story to its sort of like meatiest part. Um, that's a great. I don't know, Cloak and Hound. That's fantastic. It was for the community. Ice cream Wildlight, a small mutiny as a treat. It was for the community. Don't come in here and give me your whole like I was doing it for the plight of the working class. We're all working class here. Actually, that's yeah. Now that I think about it, I guess I am. This system is tiered and hierarchical on Twitch. So I guess, you know what, Ghostly, I appreciate, and actually, you know what, I will back up your revolutionary activity. So, I even though that I am indeed the tyrant to be overthrown, I do. I support you. I support you, Ghostly, in overthrowing this system. It was for the children. Yeah, the meat. Yeah, right. The meat, ice cream though. Yeah, it's like yeah, it's the fluff. But sometimes it's the details that matter that flesh out the story. Something I'm trying to pursue with my novel is to try and remove AI from humanity's shadow. If that makes sense, every story I've seen that involves AI always relates, yeah, to human. Yeah, you're doing like the full transhumanist stuff where it's like you're trying to think beyond kind of everything from a human centric or a sort of human centric point of view. AI trying to come up with a solution for humanity's problems, AI having access to the question of AI is really human, or the AI's role is basically just becoming a rip-off story of the Frankenstein monster. I think that's a good. I think you're treading into more interesting territory for sure, Desperado Joe. Um, I definitely think yeah, it's kind of I've been currently reading Blind Sight by Peter Watts, which that is the sort of like thesis of that sci-fi story is that like human centric or at least consciousness centric beings like are kind of a like out on the fringes. Like actually, what's more interesting the different types of intelligences, and so and probably more evolutionarily like useful if you want to think about it that way. But I think that it's smart for someone to approach AI or at least any kind of like different type of intelligence outside of kind of a human centric point of view. Now it's interesting because you are communicating the story to other humans, so you need to make it related to them to communicate your ideas. But how you do that is kind of you can be there's interesting ways you can go about that. I'm a big proponent of draft big, draft messy, always trim later. Me too, Cryptid. Me too. Ghostly will topple the regime, however that's spelled, regime, but said similar. You're not wrong. Yeah, we got you, Ghostly. I knew what you meant. All right. Well, anyway, for all our new viewers, welcome in, welcome in. Feel free to hang out. We tend to write in writing sprints, but obviously we could still be active in the chat if you feel like chatting. So we're gonna go ahead and dive into our next sprint. For everybody out there who's getting words done, good luck. Hope the words treat you well, and we will catch you on the other side. We got 40 minutes for the sprint, everybody. Go get those words. Happy writing. We'll see you on the other side. And away we go. If I could actually get the music to work. another raid. Hello, raiders. Christy Harder, welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome. How was the stream? For those of you who don't know, I am Wylite. I am a writer and director living in LA. I am currently working on a screenplay. The early stages of a screenplay, but yeah, we hang out in here and we write to sprints. So for any of you and all of you who want to write alongside us, feel free to join and feel free to rant about all the cool stuff you're writing in chat. Christy, hello. Let me give you a shout out. It's been crazy today. Oh, bam. How'd your stream go? How was everything? Streaming well? 8 hours? You streamed for 8 hours? Well done. That's crazy. Oh, man. Welcome in. But yeah, we're just, we're going to be quiet here for those who are still writing about 2 more minutes, and then we'll hop in and hang out. Alrighty, and that is the end of that sprint. We got loads of new people in here. Welcome, everybody. There will be ads dropping in about 50 seconds or so feel free to mute and or pop the stream out so you don't have to deal with the ads. We're going to start the down timer and hang out for 10 minutes before we pick up and start our next sprint. Azra Kelsey? Hopefully I didn't butcher that. Hope I didn't butcher that. Welcome in. If you didn't hear, writer. I'm a writer and director. I generally do film, but a lot of people here, most everybody here does prose, like novel and poetry and all those goodies. But yeah, welcome in. If you're a writer as well, feel free to share. We love hearing about what everybody is working on. But yeah, how's your day? How's everybody doing? And Christy, yeah, I'll stop by a bit later if you're still on. Yes, go eat, please. Go rest. That's 8 hours is brutal. Twilight is lovely. He does mostly script writing. Yes, yeah, I do. I do read people's work from time to time. It's like a point redemption thing. I definitely say I am not a prose writer. I do write prose occasionally, but not a ton. My focus is primarily writing screenplays for film and directing. So that's generally my focus. But I do try to give feedback when I can. If some people find it some people find it helpful. That's all I hope to be, is helpful. If they want my feedback. He's pretty good. He likes Ghostly. Stop it. Stop it. Stop taking all my out of context quotes. Ghostly, you will find Ghostly. We'll have all of them, and proceed to destroy my reputation. Let's see here. Aza will do if you wish. Okay, Aza, hopefully Aza. Ghosts. I don't use complex words like prose. He's alright. Just thank you, Lex. Like, everybody hyping me up. Oh, you just got 388 new words in. 16 of those were adding in a sentence. Well done, Desperado Joe. That's a good count. I think particularly when I'm writing like for short stories and stuff, I think it sometimes takes me over an hour to get 500. So you're moving at a good clip there. I don't understand their meaning or usage. Screenwriting is a different bag. It's a whole, yeah. So it's funny, a lot of people, are allergic to present tense, but I can only write. It's so hard for me to write in past tense when I do try to write short stories. Yes, it's Wilight. Wilight. You can just call me Wilight. You don't have to do the imperator nonsense. It's just Wilight. I think many people could learn from screenwriters. I think the best thing that screenwriting can do, at least hopefully, an imperator is kind of like an old Roman term for like imperial, like an emperor, ruler kind of thing. Originally, I had actually tried to name the stream just Wilight, but it was taken, and I was doing a whole like Mad Max thing. So you're incredibly good at revising prose, though. Thank you, Cryptid. That's nice. It's the film work eye. Maybe it could be. Hell, I can't wait. I need a button. That's not right of me. Okay, good. Ads are done. Good. Spending time with ads. Hold on. Yeah, they should be over. The ads should be over now. Hopefully everybody is free. It says that everyone should be free. No, he only goes by the Imperator Hipster Wilighticus the third of the if it needs to be stated, I do not go by that at all. Do not listen to Ghostly. Ghostly is nothing but lies and a deceiver. She's a deceiver. Yeah, I think a lot of people could learn. The nice thing about screenwriting is it keeps everything must be brief, because people, particularly in the film industry, hate reading. They don't like to read. So you need to make sure that your writing flows, it's easy to read, and that people can burn through it really quickly. And, for the sake of, you're writing an outline for a movie, and every minute of that movie is going to cost you a lot of money. So you need to make sure what's in there is explicitly needed. So it makes the editorial mind kind of work a lot better. You definitely need to cut the fat and kind of really get it down to the core idea, because that's really all you have time for. So, I deleted my ads. I think well done, Aza. Well done. If you deleted your ads, that's impressive. Hopefully, if you have a secret, let everybody know, because we all despise the ads here. Yes, he does. I have begun to write a scene where the protagonist is opening up to their android therapist for other androids. Nice. Okay, which I call an interviewer. Good. It's a good name. About their deepest struggles, problems. So that'll give you a good window into exactly kind of where the headspace is for an intelligence outside of a human intelligence. Seems like a friend of mine. More like don't have time to read. Yeah, I think sometimes it's don't have time to read, but most of the time I'm pretty sure they just don't like to read. I've spelled with a lot of producers. I don't think they like to read. I don't think they read very much. and they have time. Ghostly quote. Hold on. I think it's just quote. I don't know. Operatory would know how to do this. Hold on. Would know all the commands. One sec. There it is. So it's just 1-0, Ghostly. I don't know why I helped you with that. That's great. Yeah. Oh, don't worry. Publishing also doesn't like to read. Yeah, Cryptid would know. Apparently publishing just hates reading. Great. We all want to write things, but nobody wants to read. How does one succeed ever? Curses, I still don't know how this play. I look at screenwriting as a way to teach novelists that you need to know what's important in your work. Yeah, I think that's good. Yep. Take your novel and skin it alive to make a screenplay. It's a good, yeah, obviously like a screenplay is way more pared down than a novel ever should be. But it's a good learning, it is a good learning tool for pacing and structure, I think. As well as you can learn a little bit from trying to write, like breezy writing, I guess, is a way to do it, if that's what you're going for. I don't have ad blockers in Edge. My Firefox is another story. Got it. I didn't do it when I did. Exactly. Yeah, punchy writing. It's a good way to describe it, Ozza. It's mad at me. Wait, it didn't really? What did it? It didn't let you do the command, Ghostly? Oh, weird. Really? Try just doing one, then. Try doing one. I don't know. You shouldn't be barred from doing that. Oh, there you go. There you go. You did it. No one wants to read, You walked into that, Twilight? Yeah, I probably did. Yes, I did. I walked into that. Yeah. I am nothing if not gullible. That is for sure. Yep, business is business. Yep, absolutely. Their problem is that they call gray upon gray, which is a deep core concept theme in this novel. It is somewhat complex, but in simple terms, it boils down to the complete lack of self-growth, self-discovery, introspection. Okay, got it, yeah, and awareness of one's own life. So a complete lack of what they would call like self-reflexive awareness. Your ability to introspect or recall or understand your own sort of internal processing, have a meta understanding of it. That's a good. I like that. I like gray upon gray, Desperado Joe. That's a really good term for it. I like that. I like to read, but reading is also my job. I know, Cryptid. It must be hard to like find the time to like read a book for just pleasure and not because you're editing them all the time. Oh, gotcha. Okay, you use Edge. Yeah, Microsoft Edge, right? Yep. It picks and chooses. Well, when you're not making it upset, Ghostly, when you're not trying to smear my otherwise good name, by taking out of all these out of context quotes, yeah. You seem to have wit. So thank you. I would not have classified myself as such, but thank you. Um, it, it wants to make me look foolish. That's all. I read so little outside. You poor thing, Twilight. You naive little jaded cynic. Yeah, for someone who is jaded and a cynic, I am pretty naive still. I don't know why. I don't know why. I inherently take things initially. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I've always been that way. I was a deeply gullible child for a very long time. I still am, to a degree. There's so much allegedly going on in my head right now. um, Look, I didn't make that bot. I am only using the resources I have. The resources to destroy my good name, Ghostly. The first thing you do when new people show up is whip out the out of context quotes. You monster. You monster. Anyway. Grapevine is also described as emptiness. Okay, gotcha. Stillness of the mind and colorlessness. Could be compared to human depression, but it's too different. My eyes to be comparable to our understanding. But yeah, I wouldn't compare it to depression. I mean, I know like emptiness, stillness of the mind from like a Buddhist context, like in terms of Buddhist meditation. or at least like deeper meditations to sort of deconstruct the ego or the concept of the self into object, not object subject relation, like relational consciousness. So, and that is, they would use terms like, obviously Satori in Zen Buddhism is sort of a type of emptiness. um well, that's precious, and I hope you never change. I think, well, I might be too old to change. I'm not sure. That's what they keep telling me. Fortunately, I work with very lovely authors, so I get credit. Oh, Princess. For everybody who's new here, this is Princess. She'll hop up in my lap and scream. For she likes to talk to everybody. Um, uh, Fortunately, I work with very. Yeah, that's. I mean, it's always good when you're working with like authors that you can stand. Well, I'll leave you in my window. I'm trying to rest up. Well, yeah, Ozza, get some rest. Like, the most important thing that we can do is try to keep our collective sanity, is to like rest and not push ourselves too far in terms of like, it's kind of productivity culture. My biggest problem with productivity culture is it forces us to kind of be our own boss in the worst possible way, and it's a very internalized self-destructive process. um yes, take your rest. Yeah, rest up. Desperate, except emptiness is a bad thing. Oh, okay, so the emptiness in this concept is a bad thing. The gray upon gray concept is bad. Got it. I see what you're saying. While you are not that old, and indeed very witty. Thank you. I'm banking that. Uh, as I always said, Ridley Scott. So many directors didn't start like their first feature film until they were 40. So I'm banking that. Princess, our beloved princess, please preach the gospel. Yep, her gospel is, I want you to stop talking into the microphone and feed me. The Princess Manifesto. TM, exactly, Lex. 100%. You're everyone's favorite token screenwriter friend. Oh, thank you, Ghostly. That's very. Yeah. I am the weirdo screenwriter fella. Grind culture is the least spicy variety. Exactly. Also, I'd like you to know, Wildlight, I met a kid at work yesterday whose name was, oh, really, Maximilian? I say, hey, I have a friend named Maximilian, and he said that's a great name, which I told him I agree. You're outnumbered. That's true. I guess, I don't know, man. It was so. It was just it drew too much attention to itself when I was younger. Um, but as I said, it did introduce me to many of my favorite things. And also, like, the name Maximilian comes from an Austrian emperor who just colonized Mexico and then got beheaded by his own people. So it's like, there's some questionable Maximilians out there. I know. You're upset. You're mad that I'm talking. All right. Someone is vocal. Clogan Hound, you have no idea. that is the princess. That is her way. All right, everybody. Why don't we dive back into our sprints? This might be the last sprint because I do have to wrap up before 7 Pacific time. So we'll see if I don't know if we'll be able to fit another one. We'll try. But this might be the last sprint of the eve. Look, better have a cool name than, like, I don't know, Dave. Sorry to Dave's in the chat. That's terrible. The best part of being trans is we get to pick a better name, thank goodness. That is true. You do get to, yeah, you get some autonomy over the choice of your name, thankfully. Yeah, maybe we that's why we need, like, different, you need, like, your adult names. The name you choose for yourself, or that is given to you by your, your friends or whatever, your tribe. Like the Fremen naming system. All right, everybody, we're gonna dive into a sprint for everybody out there who is working along. Good luck. I hope the words treat you well, and we will see you on the other side. Happy writing, everybody, and away we go. I know. It's time to work. Time to work. You're fine. Oh. Alrighty, everybody. That is the end of that sprint. And that shall be the last sprint of tonight. I have to go and get some work done. But it has been a blast hanging with all of you these days. It has been a rough week doing those stupid Lexus things, so I have absolutely enjoyed being able to hang out with everybody to get some words done and all those goodies. Lex, next time it's story time on stream, I absolutely need you. I can recount it really quick because I'm trying to keep tabs on how many stories I've told, so I'm not just repeating myself like a crazy, actually becoming my age. No, so so when I was growing up, I lived right next to like where my babysitter was at. Like across my babysitter was right next to the school, so I would always go there right after I got out of school before my parents would get home. And across the street, they had just built this house for this like super rich guy. And so when I was, on weekends, I would like ride my bike on his like gravel lawn because, I was a kid and, hated all authority. And he used to like yell at me and swear at me all the time and tell me he was going to kill me, which is deeply funny. Anyway, one day I'm going to school and as I'm walking past those two houses to get to my school, the roads were like shut down. The SWAT team was in there, and I literally watched as they busted down his door and like ran in and drug him out. And there was like a news helicopter, which that's how my mom saw me walking to school on the news cameras as they were busting down the house. Anyway, so it turns out that guy was Sammy the Bull, and I'll just go ahead and let everybody Google who Sammy the Bull was. But Sammy the Bull, no one knew who he was because he was under witness protection because he had outed like literally half the like Chicago and New York mob scene. And so yeah, no one knew who he was. So he was just some rich guy who had shitloads of cash. And so yeah, I talked to him a lot. Like, I was definitely like the like shitty kid on his front lawn. Anyway, he got busted for selling heroin to kids. It had nothing to do with the mob. They were busting him down because he was running a heroin operation out of the house. So anyway, that's the Sammy the Bull story. But yeah, he lived right next to my elementary school. Like literally running a heroin operation right next to my school. It was a Wagner Elementary. Yeah, if you ever want to Google it, you can probably look it up. But yeah, it was crazy times. Anyway, what do we got here? You have 870 words, Desperado Joe. That's awesome. From just 2 sprints. Congrats. I was nearly tearing up at the end of it. Jesus Christ, I should do more of these things. But of course. I am glad the sprints have helped you. I am so happy, and that you are tearing up. It's good stuff. That means you're writing good stuff. Holy shit, yeah. I love this so much for you, Violet. Jesus Christ. Truly, what chapter is this one, Twilight? I mean, I was in elementary school. I think I was in 5th grade or 4th grade when that happened. Weird times. The Sammy the Bull era. I think he was only there for like 2 years. But anywho, all right, we are gonna go ahead and let's see who's on that we can drop in and say hi to for everybody who wants to keep on working. What we got here? I guess we got bum. Oh, okay. Talk about a name drop, though. Yeah, that probably might be the most famous person I've ever been associated with. It was just, the time Sammy the Bull told me to stop riding my bike on his lawn and threatened to kill me. And then, like, oh, yeah, he actually would have. Probably without a second thought. All right, let's go ahead and say hi to... What do we got here? Let's see. Let's go say hello to... Oh, Shelby's on. Let's go say hi to that. I'm going to go ahead and raid in, and otherwise we will see you all tomorrow. Just casual childhood things. Yeah, it was a weird time. It was definitely a weird time. But alrighty, everybody. We are going to go ahead and say hi to Shelby. Shelby Shoe. All right, everybody. Love you all. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourselves and be kind to others, and we will catch you all tomorrow. For all the new folks that came in, it was absolutely a blast having you all here, and can't wait to see you again. Take care, and we'll see you next time.